Are you tired of watching shows that only give you general social media theory and expect you to figure out how to apply it to your own industry? Join us for this week's episode of Social Chatter, the industry's longest running social media marketing news talk show. Not only will you learn the latest breaking news, but you'll also gain practical advice on how to apply it. Now here's your host, Christian Karasevich.
Welcome everyone to Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing news talk show. This is episode 337 with myself, Sarah Monroe, and guest Beth Granger. This week, we're excited to be talking about some new updates to LinkedIn Creator Mode. We'll talk about what that is. We'll talk about some of these updates, what they mean for you as a business. But with that, I'm going to go and bring on my co-host Sarah Monroe, and we're going to kick things off. Sarah, how you doing?
I'm great. And it's, spring is springing where we are. I know other parts of the world, it's fall. They're looking at fall, but LinkedIn is hatching all these great spring puns, right? LinkedIn is hatching all these great new tools to complement what they've been doing over this last year. And it's perfect timing for us to bring in Beth Granger. She is owner of Beth Granger Consulting and Intrepid Social. I love that title of her company. She's also a speaker, a writer, and she just launched a LinkedIn Leaders virtual group that she's running now. And welcome, Beth. Have I left anything out?
No, that's good. That's good. Nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Good to have you back, by the way. And I like your blue LinkedIn. I think that's sort of LinkedIn colors for the background. That's pretty cool.
Well, it happened by accident. When I first got LinkedIn Live, I didn't have a good background. So it's green on the other side. It's green screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I started using the blue, and it's my logo color. It just works.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very
it
cool.
all comes together.
Thanks a lot for joining us. So I'm going to turn over to Sarah. We're going to kick things off. Got a lot of news to talk about this week, and then we're going to get to some questions with you as well. So Sarah, over to you.
Well, let's just start with LinkedIn. We've got Beth here who can talk us through this because she is a beta tester for some of the new tools that have come out on LinkedIn over this last year. So let's do a little recap what LinkedIn has been doing over this last year. They have rolled out what's called Creator Mode over the course of the last year. These are for profiles, not for pages, just for profiles, where you can go live, you can have newsletters, you can have articles, all part of Creator Mode, which is something that you have to turn on. Let's remember, this is something you have to opt into. And what they're rolling out now, finally, are analytics. So they're going to have what they're calling Creator Analytics and Post Analytics. So let me start with Creator Analytics. This is going to give people who are using LinkedIn Creator Mode much more in-depth information about what's going on with the content that they're producing. So you're going to get impressions and engagement trends in graph form. They're going to give you demographic insights into the people who are following you and connected with you. And you'll better be able to access the data from your profile too. So for all of us who search everywhere, where did the analytics go? They're going to create a better place for us to find that. And now with the post analytics, they're changing some of the terminology. So they're changing the terminology from views to impressions so that you get better data on that. And then they're also going to give more insights into articles so that you'll know what's really resonating with your audience, what's working. You can test some different content formats like video or text or images, what's working with your audiences as you get into this creator mode usage. They're also going to give you a chance to feature newsletters. Now, if you're like me and all of my friends who are trying to find, where do I find someone's LinkedIn newsletter? How do I find it? Where's the button? Where's the button? So now you're going to be able to feature your newsletter in your featured section of your LinkedIn profile. And I think I've covered, oh, wait, one more thing. Profile video. They're going to improve this so that people can follow or message you from that profile video. So right now you can only record your video on mobile. It's a portrait format video, and it gives you these new tools that you can use to link up. So let's bring on Beth, because Beth, you've been using these tools. You're actually a beta tester for LinkedIn Audio as well. So let's chat about these new analytics.
Sure. Actually, before we do that, can we talk about the profile video for a second?
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
So I think, first of all, that it's a great thing, but unless you know it's there, I wouldn't know. If I went to somebody's profile and I didn't know it existed, having a purple circle around their photo wouldn't tell me that I should click on it.
Yeah.
And the Harry Potter feature where the video sort of moves doesn't show up for everybody. So I have some setting in my browser. I don't see that when I go to people's profiles. So it's sort of a cool but potentially hidden feature.
Right. But very useful. So what are some of the things that you say in your profile video? What would you recommend?
I change mine frequently.
How often? So like weekly, monthly, what do you think?
Monthly.
Okay.
Yeah, but you could change it as often as you want. You could use it to promote an event. I mean, that to me would be way too much work, but you could, you know, and I like to actually record it in Zoom, bring it into Canva to add graphics, bring it into Capwing to add captions.
Okay.
Send it to my phone and then upload it.
Nice. So basically round trip, essentially. Yeah. And I think you could use this week's tool of the week, maybe too, couldn't you?
Yes. Why not?
We'll get to that later on. But yes.
Right.
Sarah, what do you think about this?
I think it's a great idea. They've been using the profile video for a little while. I know a lot of people, and I very much appreciate them pronouncing their names. It's been a quick little video where you can let people know how to pronounce your name and give them just a couple of snippets about you, or introduce yourself, or give them a call to action. So my hope is that people still use that profile video for that purpose, so that we can all better pronounce their names, and especially those of us who spell their names differently and no one really knows what's different about it. But I'm really interested in the analytics. So Beth, have you gotten into the analytics? Have you seen, I know it's rolling out slowly.
Yes. So I've looked, but at least what I see, the analytics for creator mode or the analytics for the video?
Both, maybe?
Yeah, for creator mode. I mean, well, we've got creator mode and we've got the post analytics, and I've seen some changes on my post analytics too, and I'm not in creator mode.
Yeah, so I have looked at it, and it's still too early for me to decide how helpful it will be for me personally. But the more information, the better. That's the way I look at it, right? So, you know, there are people who use third-party tools for their analytics, and in some cases that can be easier because you can look over a time period. But and there's some people who don't care. There are people who really care about the analytics and want to be very scientific and say, you know, oh, look, video posts do really well for me. I'm going to do more of those. There are other people who just, it's more of an emotional thing, and I'm going to share what I'm going to share today, and this is how I'm going to share it.
Right.
And so in terms of analytics, I mean, like how important are analytics? I mean, if somebody's going to go on LinkedIn instead of creator mode, like how important I mean, I think, you know, profile views, like the fact that you can see who's viewed your I think that's super important because it says, hey, what I'm doing on my profile seems to be working because I'm getting more in front of people. Right.
Yes.
And I think the same thing kind of could apply to post impressions, for example. I mean, again, a lot of people tell you just start, but it's like, yes, you should start, but you still need to go back and look at those analytics. I also like that there's, you know, they're starting to try to bring all these, you know, what should be standard, I guess, features like across the board. Like, for example, you know, what you see on Facebook should, you know, the way you look at analytics on Facebook should be very similar to what you would do on LinkedIn, for example, in this case as well. So that, you know, so that everyone who's doing it is understanding, like, well, are their efforts actually working and making, you know, an impact?
Yeah. And what I tell people get very caught up in the impressions, and that may be a way to start, but honestly, doesn't mean somebody engaged with your content. So just like on any other platform, other actions are more valuable, if you will. So a comment is more valuable than a like, and a like is more valuable than an impression.
Mhm. Right, right. And getting back to just the basics of creator mode, I didn't look at this to see if I know that you can turn on creator mode without being a LinkedIn premium, a pay to use LinkedIn
Yes.
person. But is creator mode tied at all to the membership fee?
Nope.
Okay.
And how do you
Not at
set up
Just
creator
clarifying.
mode, by the way, as well? I mean, I know how to do it. Sarah knows how to do it, but how do you set it up, Beth?
So on your profile, you know how there's that gray box that's only for you with information? It's a button right there. You'll see it in there, and it'll say creator mode off, I think, if you don't have it turned on, and you can turn it on. And what I didn't know, actually, until today, when a friend from somewhere outside of the United States mentioned it to me, I thought creator mode was completely rolled out, that anybody could have it. That's not the case. It's still rolling out. So I didn't realize that.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, it is definitely still rolling out. I've heard from some folks in Europe who don't have it either. So, and let's be clear too, these creator tools and analytics will be rolling out to people who are using creator mode too. So not everybody has them right now, but for sure it's coming out. LinkedIn put out a very long blog post as LinkedIn is want to do. Oh, this one is much faster read, I have to say, than the others that they typically put out. Nothing against LinkedIn, but sometimes it gets a little long. So yeah.
They make it, I gotta say this, I'm just checking out some things here, and they make it super easy to turn on creator mode. I mean, it's under the resources section. So it's like, go to your profile, go to resources, and then it says creator mode, and there's a green button when it is on.
Yep.
And if you want to make edits, you just simply click that section, and it will then let you go in and, you can add, for example, you can add topics, up to 5 topics. You can then enable the LinkedIn Live feature, the newsletters feature, and so forth. So if you start getting newsletter requests from people, because people have started setting them up. So very cool.
Right.
Sarah,
Right.
Turning it back to you. We're
going to stay on LinkedIn.
Yeah, sure.
Before we move on, LinkedIn has announced some free tools and tutorials through LinkedIn Marketing Labs. Now, let's be truthful. Part of this free content is how to use LinkedIn advertising. So that is one piece of content. But they're also doing new courses on building your organic presence with pages, those pages that we all neglect a little bit too much, how to get more reach with that. Also to how to fuel your funnel with a content strategy. And this is something that would be great for people who are just getting into using LinkedIn or just getting into marketing. Some great free tutorials. We had talked about this about a year ago when I first got on, how LinkedIn Learning is coming out and they're rolling out some free things. It's great that you can get all of LinkedIn Learning when you subscribe to their premium features, but it's nice that they're putting out this free content. They're also putting out some things about creative design to help you improve what you are posting on LinkedIn. Really everything to help you have better quality content on the platform. And of course, you can transfer all of this knowledge to the other social media platforms that you use too. So, Beth, have you dug into any of the Marketing Lab content?
No, I haven't. I will, of course, check it out because I always like to see what's there. But a little tip for people, by the way, about LinkedIn Learning: check your local library. Many libraries have access to it, and you can get it for free through your library card.
Very cool.
Ooh, that is a good tip. That's a pro tip. Very good pro tip, actually.
We're going to have to tweet that out.
Not everyone, but many do.
So do you just go to your library and ask them, or is it an online thing?
Well, on mine, it's through the website. You just log in, you put your library card number in, and some cases, they still call it lynda.com.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna have to check this out after the show and see if I have access to it. That's pretty cool, actually. Very cool. So, Sarah, where do you want to go from here? I mean, I don't have much to add to this. I mean, just the fact that take advantage of some of the learning that is available. Again, yeah, you're gonna be taught things that are related to LinkedIn, for example, the advertising side. But I think it's also, I mean, there's a lot of things you can take away that you can apply to other parts of your business that you're doing.
Right. Right, exactly. Well, let's move on to the big topic of the week that everybody is chitter-chattering about. And the man with the ticket to Mars has been tweeting about as well. And that is Twitter news. If you haven't paid attention, lift up that rock that you're living under, because Twitter comms has confirmed that they have been testing an edit button for the last year. Now, there's been a lot of kerfuffle this week about their newest, biggest shareholder and board member who has put out a poll about whether or not people wanted an edit button, and lots of following tweets about being careful what you wish for with this. But Twitter actually confirmed yesterday that, yes, the 5th, yesterday? Yeah. Oh no, 2 days ago, that in fact, yes, we have been testing this edit button. We don't know if it will or will not be coming, because Twitter's been very careful about the edit button, because tweets can be shared so easily and can spread so quickly, especially viral content, that if something is edited, chances are those people who retweeted it may not be keeping up with whether or not that original tweet was edited. So this is why Twitter's been very careful about it. Other platforms let you know if something's been edited. If a Facebook post has been edited, you can see the edit history. LinkedIn lets you know if something's been edited as well. So Twitter has always been very careful about how would this edit work with the retweet function too. Would it be a notice? If you've retweeted a tweet that then gets edited, would you be notified? Other things that could happen is you could only edit it within a certain period of time. So it's going to be very interesting what happens. And they actually gave us a screenshot of what it will look like. So if you go into your tweets, it's the next slide, Christian. In your tweet composer, you'll actually see this drop down where you can, right now, it looks like it normally does, but that last line is the edit tweet. So you'll still have the delete tweet, pin, change who can reply, that kind of thing. But the edit tweet is what will show up. So that's the news that's been actually confirmed by Twitter. So what are we thinking about this?
Beth, you want to go first?
There are times I've wanted to have that ability. Mm-hmm. But what you said about the speed with which tweets go back and forth I don't know how it could possibly work. Maybe some kind of indication that but again, if you've retweeted something, that's kind of like endorsing it. And what if somebody changes it to say something completely different? Right. Does it automatically change your retweet to indicate that? I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah. It's going to be very curious. For one, there are 2 typos that I make in half of the tweets that I put out. It's if or of, and on and in, because I'm going quickly on my phone, and my phone likes to change words. And those are the biggest typos. But I'm like, it's Twitter, it's not the New York Times. It's not a published book. So it says in instead of on, right? But I, for one, will appreciate a grammar correction. And again, this could be something that they allow and they don't allow. They could also set a limit. If it hasn't been retweeted more than so many times, you're allowed to edit it. So there's been a lot of speculation about it. Christian, you're a big Twitter user. What are you thinking about this one?
I like the idea of it, but I don't necessarily like the idea of rolling it into a subscription service. That's the part I'm not crazy about, rolling a Twitter Blue. But I guess maybe that's a way to at least get it started, fund the development of it. I think, but I still have the same concerns you both have, which is the ability to be able to edit a tweet after it's been sent out. I mean, people are going to, who knows where for some people that's fine, but simply just delete it and redo it. I mean, unless it's, that's kind of what I would kind of look at it as. Like, I like the idea of it, but it's not that hard to delete a tweet and redo it. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. So, All right. So moving on, let's talk. We've got 2 more pieces of news before we talk to Beth with some Q&A. So let's move pretty quickly through this. First piece of news is from Snapchat. They're adding a new lens, and let's talk about vernacular with Snapchat, right? In Snapchat, a lens, for those of us who use Instagram more, we would call it a filter. So Snapchat calls it lenses. So what they're adding is an American Sign Language lens to this, so that you can translate. You can learn how to fingerspell in American Sign Language. So it's a great way to really elevate people in the deaf community. They're working with an organization called Sign All to roll this out. Actually, I think this is not the first time that Snapchat has worked very closely with advocacy groups and nonprofits to add these different elements to their lens lineup. So it's going to be a chance for you to translate what these hand gestures and signs are on Snap. So it's a very cool lens tool to make Snapchat a little more exciting. And I have to say, it's a lot more interesting than some of the filters that I've been seeing on TikTok and Instagram, to be honest. So what do you two think of this?
Oof, this one's, Beth, you
I
want to go?
like it. I like it. I mean, there are people who are promoting the use of, for instance, captions everywhere that you can. And I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I look at this, and I guess the other part that I guess I'm thinking of is just how many potential jobs this impacts. Because there's people that are, sign language interpreters, and they do that for a living. And the direction this is trending, it's great that it's kind of automatically doing it for people. But it does also seem like it's going to alter a lot of things, potentially for people that, that's their thing. I mean, people would previously have maybe an edited video, throw somebody in that video that's doing that. Now that you might have this lens doing it, it's cool that it's smart and getting to the point where it can do it for you. I'm interested to also see kind of what the user adoption is. How many people are using this?
Right.
Or is it going to be?
Yeah. Remember, this is just finger spelling. This isn't the richness that is sign as its own language. And what's interesting about sign language in itself is that it's very much the combination and the intent of it. So I don't think any kind of AI will be able to pick up that, just as it has trouble with any kind of spoken language as well. There's just so much to ASL that I don't know that it will take away any of that. But it's great that people can learn some basic spelling and words. So.
And I got to say, that is the great thing about a lot of this, is just the whole learning aspect, is that, the fact that, like, people who may not be aware of this, I mean, this is something you can quickly just learn, like, start to like pay attention to what people are doing. So, even if it's, even if you're not spending a ton of time there, like, start to pick up things. Awesome. So,
okay. So last piece of news is from Meta. This is an attempt to get more Reels onto Facebook. And I'm going to admit, I'm a big Reels watcher on Instagram. All of my friends, Christian knows the number of funny Instagram Reels that I will share with my friends. Facebook is trying to elevate Reels as well. And so what they've finally done is opened up to third-party apps. Third-party app developers will allow you to post a video from that third-party app to Facebook Reels. So right now the list is limited to, I think they have 3 apps that they're endorsing: Smule, Vita, and Viva Video. So as you're creating a video in these apps, you'll have that drop down option the way we see it on other apps too. Like, do you want to tweet this? Do you want to share it to LinkedIn? Here, you'll be able to share it directly to Facebook Reels. So it's a nice step in the right direction for Facebook Reels. I have to say, I haven't been impressed with Facebook Reels algorithm and the content that it's been providing to me. I don't find it great content that I'm really interested in, but boy, does Instagram have me dialed into what I like. So there's not a lot to this announcement. Do either of you have a quick comment about it?
I don't have anything on mine. Beth, anything you want to add about this?
No, but I'll agree that the algorithm, I don't see things, although I did see one with 2 cute golden retrievers the other day, and so that made me happy. But for the most part, the algorithm seems better on other platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, we'll see. Well, it'll get there. I think we live in countries where TikTok is used, right? Is used quite highly and is a direct competitor with Facebook. But other parts of the world, Facebook and Instagram are used more widely, and TikTok isn't getting any traction in those countries, right? Because Facebook keeps adding these tools that sort of keep people on the Meta properties instead of going off to a new one, because they still have this fun factor. And there's no reason to go off to TikTok because you can get the same kind of short video on Instagram or Facebook. So I think once we get out of our North American bubble and out of that, we realize that Meta really does have a bigger play when it comes to these short videos in other parts of the world.
Definitely, yeah. So that's the news for the week, right, Sarah?
That is the news for the week. So let's move on to some questions with Beth. And how great it is that we have you here this week as LinkedIn is talking about new creator tools. So for folks who may have missed this last year or just aren't paying attention to all the new things that they can do with creator mode, let's talk about who should or who could use creator mode and what some of these use cases are and what you think about it, Beth.
So, of course, when I got it, I turned it on immediately just to experiment with it. But the way I look at it, if you're looking to build your network and that's how you use LinkedIn, you may not want to turn it on because it forces you to have that follow button as the default button instead of connect. If you're looking to build an audience, then you might want creator mode. Or if you really want access to newsletters and LinkedIn Live, you may want to turn it on. And for people who aren't sure about it, but about the follow button thing, you can still connect with somebody if they have the follow button as default, but not everybody knows that you can or where that's hidden under another menu.
Right. So let's remind people where that hidden feature is, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's depending on if you're on mobile or desktop, it's either under more or 3 dots. There'll be a button with 3 dots. And the option is personalize invite.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you go to your profile, right, first?
Yes. So go to somebody's profile.
Okay. Got it.
And then depending on
so you click more and then you'll see connect or follow there, I think, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's just plain connect and then also personalize invite. Depends.
Nice.
And to know about LinkedIn, they're always testing things and they don't tell you. So something you hear today, it might not be there or it might change places tomorrow. We're all unpaid beta testers.
You do have to remember, yes, that's a good point.
Yeah, and I have to say, for me, this morning I connected with you, Beth, right? I was on your profile. My menu said something different. So you had the big follow button. Mm-hmm. There was another button in the middle. I don't remember what it was. And then there was the 3 dots. I clicked on the 3 dots. The drop down was connect and then add a note, which of course I added a note, which is a nice process. But like you said, it's just like any other platform. I'm part of LinkedIn groups, Instagram community groups. We're talking about different features and things come and go for all of us every day. Someone says, hey, this disappeared. Like, yep, it did. When will it come back? Who knows? Right? So,
it's part of the fun.
Yeah. So let's talk about a little more in depth about these tools. So there is, within the creator mode, there's articles, there's newsletters, there's LinkedIn Live, and you are an LinkedIn audio user too. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about how people can use these tools to increase their network or their reach or share their ideas.
Sure. And before we do that, one quick thing to know also is if you turn creator mode on, it changes your profile slightly. it brings your activity section up above your about section. So your about section is diminished in importance, if you will, and it adds your 5 hashtags or things you talk about under your headline. But in terms of the features, I love newsletters. I think it's a great feature because people can subscribe to it. They can say, I want your content, and it will notify them every time you publish. And that first newsletter that you send is the most important, because only that time it will invite every single one of your connections and followers to subscribe.
That's a really important tip. Really important tip. Yeah.
And it's just another way to communicate with your audience, with your network. And LinkedIn Live, yes, people like it. Just like any other tool, it's how you have to decide how you want to communicate with your network. And so I had early access before Creator Mode existed to LinkedIn Live, and I went live every week for over a year and a half. Loved doing it, loved the experience. And because you can multi-stream, I could be sending it to LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook or whatever if I wanted to. So these are features that people really want to have and try, and Creator Mode is a great way to get them quickly.
Great. So what are some of, we've already talked a little bit about that follow and connect disappearing, right? So what are sort of the plus minuses here? The pluses and negatives of going to Creator Mode?
Well, sort of like I said before, it depends on your goals, how you're using LinkedIn. If you're trying to build a network, you might want to have that connect button, and you can't change it once you put on Creator Mode. You can turn off Creator Mode. What I don't know, and people have wondered, is if you turn off Creator Mode, do you lose access to newsletters and LinkedIn Live, or do you keep that access? It's a good question. Maybe I'll ask my creator manager, which is another thing we haven't talked about. So there are people at LinkedIn who are called creator managers that if you have Creator Mode turned on, some of you will have that access. And that's kind of, to me, an interesting thing that they're doing, providing access to LinkedIn in that way. And I assume that's how I got beta to the LinkedIn audio feature.
Right. And that just it just happened, or it was presented to you as an opportunity?
So I was invited by email. There was a form that I found where people could, it didn't say it was to apply, but it was to find out how you can, I forget the exact wording. That form seems to be hidden now. I don't see it on the pages. It may still exist, but it's a good question. Yeah.
Again, one of those features, some people get it, some people don't, right?
Yeah.
And then with the newsletters, yes, people get notified within Instagram, but they also get emails, right?
Yes.
So it sends out just like an email. If you don't have an email newsletter that you're sending out, this takes, I don't want to say takes the place of it, but is a great alternative for it.
Well, and if you do, so my dilemma now is I have both, right? I have an email newsletter, which I don't send all that often. And the LinkedIn one, if people are subscribed to both, will it be annoying? Will they be hearing too much from me? So just some things to think about.
So something to think about is how is it a benefit for you to be a subscriber to your newsletter in addition to your LinkedIn newsletter, right? That exclusive content. And we always say you want to own your list, right? If LinkedIn may, this test of Creator Mode may not go well after a year and a half, and they may take away this feature, and then you lose that email list.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So anything else you want to add about Creator Mode?
Oh, no, I think it's interesting, and I like that they're trying it. There is some talk among creators about monetizing the way other platforms allow you to monetize as a creator. And I know that LinkedIn is thinking about it. There have been surveys and things like that asking about your thoughts on that. So that'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think it's going to be interesting to see if any of these tools then translate to pages. We have seen this track, right? We've seen the track toward the end of the year and the beginning of this year where some of the tools have come out to pages.
Yes,
newsletters. Yep, newsletters was just a couple weeks ago. We talked about LinkedIn newsletters for pages. LinkedIn articles for pages came back. Remember, we used to have publishing on LinkedIn. Again, one of those things comes and goes. I'm really excited about the analytics. Like, can I turn on the creator mode, or is the creator environment their testing ground for these analytic tools that will then translate over to pages?
Really good question. Yeah. All this stuff. I wish we knew.
Exactly. And you also are a beta tester for audio. Have you used it? How's it gone?
Oh yeah. I love experimenting with this. So for people that don't know about it, it's kind of like Clubhouse, but on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you can have a conversation with your network, with anyone on LinkedIn. And I've experimented with different formats, different ways of using it. I've tried to break it, and it's been a lot of fun. There are some things that hopefully they're working on. I mean, it's still a baby product, right? Clubhouse is over a year old. This is maybe 3 months old, 4 months old at the most. So there are some things that maybe are frustrating as a user or as a host, but the conversations have been wonderful, and I think it has potential.
Yeah. Great. Thank you for that expertise. It's always great to hear someone who's trying these new tools out, seeing what's working, try to break it, right?
Yep. I did twice. I did a LinkedIn Live interview with somebody, and then had everybody go over to a LinkedIn audio event for the Q&A.
And how did that go?
It worked. It was complicated because it's behind the scenes. It's technically two separate events. And how do you get people from one to the other? And which one do you promote? And all of that. But the two of you should come on a LinkedIn audio event with me.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll say hello. We didn't say hello earlier to our Twitter Spaces listeners. But for sure, I think that would be a lot of fun to try.
Very cool. So, do we have any other questions for Beth, Sarah?
No, I think we can wrap up with the tool of the week. And the tool of the week I hadn't heard of. This is something that Beth introduced me to, and I have to have it. I have to have it because I'm one of those people who I do a lot of, up until 2 years ago, I did a lot of in-person workshops. And now there is this tool, I might as well say what it is. It's called Loom. This is a very creative way to have your little bubble video appear over your slides, or a screencast, or whatever it is that you want to do. Of course, you can use products like StreamYard too. But I think Loom is a really cool tool to try out, and I am definitely trying it out this week. I have to put together a tutorial about a complicated technical document, and I am going to use Loom for this. So it gives you a chance to, I'm going to let you two talk about it because I have not started an account yet. So I haven't used it. I know how I'm going to use it in the next 3 days. And so how do you two use it?
Beth, you want to take that?
Sure. So one of the ways I really like to use it is in an email after a conversation with a prospect, a potential client, where I can thank them. I can I can go on their profile, give them a tip. It's just a really nice way to be able to share video easily and also have it combined with something on the screen. I also like to use it for recording tutorials because then people can see my face speaking and see what I'm talking about on the screen.
And I would second the thing. I use it primarily for doing just a quick tutorial, something I want to get out there to people. A lot of times you could have used, a third party editor like a Final Cut Pro or something like that, do a recording, very nice recording, but you have to kind of think like, what is it you want to get across to somebody? Does it need to be perfect? If not, just use Loom, for example, for something like that. It's super easy. Or as Sarah mentioned, you can also use StreamYard as well. So both options. It really depends on, what you want to get out there. I mean, again, make it easy for your customers, and, make sure you're visible as well to your customers, because they want to see who they're connecting with versus you talking about, a screen recording you're doing. So they want to see your face.
Right.
And one of the cool features is that you can, it makes an animated, is it GIF or GIF? I don't know. We can have that argument, but that you can put in your email. So if your email system doesn't block it out when you get the email, when they see the email, they'll see the little
GIF
moving image, and they can click on it and then go to so that's kind of
right. That's very cool. And you have more opportunities to move the video around on the screen, right? Too.
Yeah. Yeah. You're the circle with your face in it or whatever. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's actually a very useful point, or good point, Sarah, because again, it's also about, a lot of times people look at things and they're like, well, I'm not going to do that because it's complicated. Sorry. And, in this case, it doesn't have to be, there is that flexibility to, just quickly record a video and just, make it your own. So very nice.
Right.
Well, you can check that out at socialchef.com/go/Loom if you want to check that one out. I think it's, let's see, I can't remember how much was that one. Do you happen to remember?
$8.99 a month.
So,
or $8 a month, something like that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I don't have any other questions for anybody except, I guess one question, Beth, what's the best place for people to get in touch with you? And we obviously know where that's going to be considering what you do, but
LinkedIn, of course. And because I have creator mode on, you can follow me. If you want to connect with me, you have to go to the more or the 3 dots, pick personalized invite, and tell me you saw me here.
Fantastic. And Sarah, what about you?
And same for me. You can find me across social media at Sarah Monroe VT. And again, if you connect with me on LinkedIn, let me know that you saw me here on Social Chatter.
Fantastic. And I'm Christian Karasevich at Social Chefs across all the social platforms, or you can also connect with me on LinkedIn as well. With that, we will make sure we have a blog post going out over the weekend with all these tips and information that Beth shared. But with that, we'll see you all next Thursday, right, Sarah? Next Thursday
with Doreen Moore and Van Dam. Hooray!
Awesome. So with that, have a great weekend, everyone. Bye. Thanks a lot for watching.
Bye.